I have over 7 million followers on Instagram, but it's not the number that should impress you. It's the who follows me. The Wolf Blissers, the Paris Hiltons, and, Dr. J's. You have access to social media platforms that you can really touch influential people for free, and you don't use it in that way.
Hey, everybody, in the SmarterUmedia ecosphere, our guest tonight is truly a legend in the hospitality space. If you find your way all the way across the world in Macau, and you are a celebrity in the stratosphere of celebrities, you want to find Reggie Martin so you can have the time you want to have in Macau. He literally has been taken all across the world because of his career. We're honored to have you. Reggie, welcome to SmarterUmedia.
Man, glad. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Glad we finally got this together.
Yeah, well, it's not as if you're on the other side of the world. It's night where I am, it's morning where you are, and that's a big world, man.
Oh, yeah, go buy a lottery ticket, man. I tell you the future.
I love that. I love that. I'm sure that's the way it works too, right? Well, we have so much to talk about. Since we met at NBA All-Star Weekend, I've been excited to have you on. But first, we got to get you to the chicken timer. We got to
Uh-oh.
give you an opportunity to make me smarter in 2 minutes, because that's what we promise people that we're going to do. So before you know it, Reggie, make me a little bit smarter.
I never chased money. I always chased relationships. And through relationships, it gave me access to a lot of great, high value people that brought a lot of value to my life. So I've been living a billionaire's lifestyle without being a billionaire because of the high value people that I surround myself with, the circles I am. So I never let money or chasing money influence me. I always chase that relationships, and that was very important. You know, I always taught. I was taught. I like to teach others. I would take influence, being an influencer of then having money anytime, because what happens if you living in a world without currency and all you have is money?
Hmm.
You're broke if you have no relationship. So that was very important to me. It gave me an amazing lifestyle. It made me very successful at what I do. And I just think it's a powerful thing, the power of relationships.
30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. You have 30 seconds to take into your day that you've been gifted by Reggie Martin. We're going to start right there. We live in a world sometimes where we think that currency is the only currency, and you know better. You
That's right.
live it. And you see people who have made so much and yet are so unhappy. At the same time, you see people who have found their way to have beautiful people around them and their lives are full.
Absolutely. I give an example all the time. I never owned a car in my life. I don't know even how to go buy a car, but I have a driver that picks me up every day. you, you understand what I'm?
I
I
think you
figure,
figure things out.
right, right. I so many things that money uh, cannot buy. You see at the NBA All Star Weekend, I'm sitting on the floor. No matter how much money you got, you couldn't buy that ticket because that ticket wasn't for sale.
Yeah.
you know, so I really believe in relationships, and then money will come follow. Of course, we need. I'm not saying you don't need money. You need money for things like for health. For some serious things, but I do not make that the focus. So my net work is my net worth.
My network is my net worth. You're going to say it to your friends today, and you're not going to give Reggie credit. Give Reggie credit today. Your network is your net worth. And
Oh
I'm going
yeah.
to unpack it. So SmarterU Media is at its core, we're people who believe that entrepreneurship is a thing that's in all of us. We may or may not ever start a business. On the other hand, to be entrepreneurial allows you to do the kinds of things that you've done. So I think of your trajectory as being unbelievably entrepreneurial in that what you've done is create a brand that's you within a very large brand that is the Venetian or Sands casino group. That's very similar to what people like Adam Silver have done within the NBA. It is something we don't always think about, but it's one of the great entrepreneurial venues that people have in the world.
Absolutely. I like to use this example. I'm coming from East Chicago, um, which is small,
Mm-hmm.
and Macau in China compared to all the other cities is small. So what I did was I was a fish in a small pond, and I became a shark in this small pond. So when I go to a bigger pond, I go as a shark already. So when I leave here, or if I go to the States, I go as a shark because I became a shark in this small pond.
Understanding that you don't necessarily have to go to the biggest city in the world. You don't have to be in New York. You don't have to
Correct.
be in Paris to be in a place that you get a chance to build your own
That's right.
world.
This started in East Chicago. This Macau is just where it ended up at. But
Yeah.
the power of, coming up in East Chicago, I was taught a lot. Grew up around a lot of, gangsters, gangs.
Yep.
But I wasn't one. I was affiliated with a certain organization because of the side of town I was in. But I was a kid that liked playing basketball, and of course, I liked chasing, the ladies back in the day. So for me to go to, it can be dangerous for you to go to different sections of the city because it's different organization that controls that side, gangs. So I
Yeah.
mastered at 19 years old. Okay, I knew I need to know who the shot callers is in every one of these places because I like to go play basketball, and I might like a girl in your area. I don't want no problems. So as soon as I started knowing started understanding the power of having relationships, I can go to the west side, the south side, Calumet, and not have problems because they would be like, oh, that's Reggie, man, he good. So that's where the influence me started understanding how powerful relationship and influences is.
No matter where you are, no matter
No
where
matter.
you are, and honestly, smaller can be more challenging all the time
That's right.
because
That's right.
because there are fewer people, but the power structure can be unbelievably complicated. At the age of 9 or 10, 8, 9, 10, you find yourself learning the dynamics of power structures, which you take with you every day for the rest of your
You take
life.
for now when we talk about power, the person with the highest title doesn't mean that's the person with the biggest influence. So
Every
I
time, no.
tried to
Yeah.
find who's the influence of everything. So I might
Yep.
not know who was the top dog but I know who was the biggest influencer. So if I couldn't touch the top dog, I can touch the influencer, and the influencer will go out and educate everybody who you are. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. And I think no matter where you are, I think that
Yeah.
the people who you want to be in conversation with are not the people with the biggest title almost ever.
Yes, but see, you said that's universal. How many 90% of the people will overlook someone because of a title?
Yes.
They would go, "Oh, that's the CEO," but they don't know. Okay, yeah, that's the CEO, but that the person who you just walked past is the influencer. He's probably the one you really need to know instead of that CEO. So you never know. You just I mastered. I talk to everybody because you never know who the garbage man might know.
And you never know where they're going to be in your trajectory, wherever you're going,
That's the fact.
where they are on the rise, and where you are on your rise and fall. I mean, everybody crosses. We all cross and find our way into a space. Yeah.
That's right. Title is a title. That's all it is. It's just a title. It doesn't mean they smarter. It doesn't mean they have a bigger influence on things. It's just a title. So, luckily I understood that coming up in East Chicago as a kid, like, okay, this person is the top dog, but this person is the man right here. Really he's the leader.
And you take that with you for the rest of your life. You got an education because we were fortunate to grow up in a family that valued education. So you got a college degree
At
and
a small school. I can go, like I say, the ponds, right? Um, you know, dominated being a fish, like I say, in Chicago, Macau, it's a small pond. I was a small fish in a small pond, became a shark in that pond, and now when I travel across Europe or America, I go as a shark. But then also my university was a small pond.
right.
I went to a Division II school, right? That nobody knows of, Winona State. It's a small school in Winona, Minnesota. So I
Right.
enjoy going and speak at, big time universities, DePaul, and, Purdue, Northwest, and all these places because I didn't go to an Ivy League school, but they invited me to come and speak because now I became a shark. They're not gonna invite a fish to come speak at these big time schools. They're inviting sharks to come speak. So I'm used to, I understood the assignment. And I worked with what God had gave me, and I took advantage of that, and just followed His lead. That now I'm able to be, in the situation I'm in right now, and it's just amazing.
You are as personable a human as anyone's ever going to meet. That helps. And you have a tremendous acuity for knowing how to be comfortable wherever you are. That's
Yeah,
one of those great skills.
that is a skill. Of course, I wanted to be playing at, Purdue or Michigan or UCLA, but unfortunately, that's not how it ended. So okay, I'm in this Division II school. Now I got I need to be a shark here. All right. And that shark led me, okay, now I'm in the sharks with the Purdues and the UCLAs and the Harvards and the Princetons.
I want to talk basketball
Let's
because
do
you
it.
love basketball. Look, that's how we met. We met at the NBA All Star Weekend, and it's something that has been a through line of your life. But I think it's an important through line of your life, without which probably your life would not be what it is. Talk to me about basketball and how you translated that into something that helped take you across the world.
And basketball was everything. Basketball and baseball. I probably should have stayed with baseball, but it wasn't as glamorous in high school as basketball was. So
Yeah.
I chose basketball. Um, Man, it made some amazing friends. Was invited to play at some of the major basketball camps in high school, BC All Stars, 5-star All Stars at that time, Future Stars, uh, and played in high school. Was able to get a scholarship. I unfortunately in basketball camp I was going against a lot of some dogs. So freshman,
Big jump.
sophomore year, I learned in high school real quick, you're not going to the NBA. you know, yeah, I'm one of the ones that didn't even, like I was mature. I understood, like, wow, I'm going against, these cats, Darren Hancock, Tracy Webster, all these guys, Rashard Griffin, and I'm saying, oh no, you need to just get a good scholar, concentrate on your grades. It broke my heart because,
Yeah.
you grow up
Yeah.
thinking, you want to go to the NBA, and the one thing it did, it probably stopped my work ethic a lot. Once I came back knowing, I don't care how much I practice, I'm not gonna be that good. So be good enough to get a scholarship so your parents don't have to pay for school, and that makes you successful. So my goal was to make sure my parents didn't have to pay for school, um, and it worked out. So for me, that was success right there.
That's one of the great ways that people can change their lives is
That's right.
to get away through sports or other things to get an education. And then you're on a different playing field. You're just
Yeah.
still on a different playing field.
And then now, as over the years, you find out it's still only a very few people that was able in the world to get a scholarship to play D2 or D1. So you don't find out, I didn't find out till later how blessed that I was. Here I am thinking, oh, that's only Division 2 because I'm looking at all my friends playing at Division 1. So I'm like, whoa, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be playing D2 because there's so many great players who never even went to school, never had a chance to go to school for whatever reason.
It seems like you took advantage of that which showed up.
I don't believe in luck. I believe in blessings. I'm not one of those ones that's saying it's not supposed to happen. For me, it's supposed to happen. you know, why not me? Who else do you want it to be? I understood trials and tribulations. I understood everybody needed to go through them, not just me. So I never would say why me for anything. But I believe I was supposed to be here. Now, if I never knew or never thought about coming to China, no, that was not on my list. But or Turkey and or Bali, all these amazing places that my job, Club Med Resorts, have taken me around the world.
Yeah.
Uh, but I truly believe I did manifest that because I was one of those kids that understood you can have multiple dreams. And I had multiple dreams. The NBA not working, but I had another dream. If I can have a job that pays me and fly me around the world, I was happy. So that fell in place, right? Some of these things is just now coming to manifestation now. I probably asked for this probably at 20, 21 years old. But now I understand I wasn't ready for it. I would have fumbled. Now he's giving it to me right now. I know how to handle the situation right now. So everything totally makes sense to me when I sit back and rewind the movie in my head. Like, okay, all of this had to happen for me to fall in this place I'm in right now. It makes sense.
There are people who have a faith similar to yours, and there are people who don't. I think still what you talk about as manifesting the things in your life can apply to anyone's life because being able to view your life today, not with sour grapes, not about the things you don't get or the things you don't have, but being able to look at the things and the journey you've been on as an incredible journey that you're fortunate to be a part of, that perspective changes your everyday.
Yes, yes, yes. It really does.
Club Med takes you to exciting different places. Is that right out of college?
Well, no, from when on the state, we had to do an internship to graduate. So I did an internship in Palm Springs, California. which I already thought I was big time that I made it to Palm Springs, California at that time.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Palm Springs, California was was amazing. I was working at the Lawrence Welk Resort doing my internship, and I understood the assignment uh, from school and by for me with God. He put me in a situation that where nothing but high value people come to that resort.
Mm.
So in my mind frame, it only takes me to meet one person that
Yeah.
can change my life. So everything was about, relationships with me. All these people come into this resort, which was a golf resort,
Mm.
is high value people. And I just knew I was in the right situation to meet the right people to put me in position to take off in life. And that's what happened. I ended up meeting a French lady who actually was turned out to be the vice president of HR for Club Med Resorts. Never even heard of Club Med. So when she came up to me and say, she likes my personality, she think I would be good for Club Med, I thought she was talking about Medicare or something. Like Medicare, I don't know about no Medicare. She had no. It's a resort and it's an entertainment resort and you live on a resort and blah blah. And that's how it took off. So I got very intrigued with that. Um, uh, I got a call from Club Med. They was, doing it's. I'm telling you, it just fell in place. They ended up having one of their what you call it interviews in Chicago, where like 500-600 people was coming to interview to work for Club Med. So they
Yeah.
would go around and do interviews in different states and cities. How going there, however, you can tell me that I just knew I was getting the job.
Yeah.
I just went in there so confident, like, oh, I'm getting the job, and then got the job. And I remember the very first meeting in Florida by our general manager at the time, Greg Snyder. And I remember him saying, "Hey, y'all are lucky to be here. We get over 10,000 resumes a day." I couldn't believe it. Here I am thinking, oh yeah, I got this job. But when he hit me that they get 10,000 resumes a day, I really went back to my room, and was so thankful and grateful that, I was able to get this job and this lifestyle. And it took me around the world.
I want to go back to something you said. I think it's just worth saying out loud again, which is you went to a place where you were around people and you had a very specific recognition that all you needed to do was find one person, and
Yes,
it was the right person. The person could change your life. And you literally did.
a couple times in life.
And so that takes you into this place. It's the path, it's the forked path that we get a chance to find. But if we're not walking forward, if we're not taking advantage of the thing and looking for the thing, you never get there. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal, but it takes a lot of maturity, right? So if you in your 20s, maturity at some point plays a
Yeah.
big part of this. And I was, you know, I like having fun, but I understood, okay, fun is always going to be, no matter what age you are, fun is going to still be there. But some of these doors that's right here is not. You, you understand what I mean? So I understood while my friends want to go to the club, I'm going to this boring cocktail that's going on. I can always go to the club and chase girls, but this cocktail, I'm only in Palm Springs for a small little time. I'm going to this Palm because you never know who I might meet that can change my life. So that's what separated me from everybody else. They'd rather go to the party when I'm going to this boring cocktail and laughing at jokes I don't even understand. I'm just following the cue, you know what I mean? And here I am today.
Yeah. And then you're in Club Med. Club Med takes you where? The Bahamas, Bali,
Dominican,
France,
Dominican Republic,
Dominican Republic.
France. I mean, Club Med was amazing, amazing. It put me around, people I would never be around if I would have stayed in East Chicago.
Yeah.
So the diversity of that was amazing. And you know what? Let me say that East Chicago, we have amazing people.
Of course.
I want to grow up nowhere else but East Chicago, but I mean the diversity of people I would never have met, and that was just amazing. Just meeting people from France and Australia and all these amazing countries, and trying different foods I never had or was exposed to.
Hmm.
Um, coming up in East Chicago. So that was a transition in my life that I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. This is what I'm talking about right here. These are the rooms I'm in, and I'm not going nowhere. And I just stayed true to myself, and like I said, here we are today, and life has just been amazing. I really understood we only got one life to live, so you might
Hmm.
as well get it right on this first time around. So
That's a very wise lesson for us all to pay attention to, Reggie. I I think your trip to China. So I've seen some of the pieces that people have done on you as a black man in China for 25 years, and I don't know where your comfort zone is with any of those things, but to be willing to be adventurous enough to be in a society that's so different from what you know takes a particular ability to be comfortable around people. You have a secret sauce and you're going to share it with us. How do we do that? How do we find the comfort in ourselves that allows us to talk to anybody? Because you can talk to anybody, Reggie.
yeah, I was just, I was just born and blessed with the gift of gab. But you saying what you said, I have a few guys at home. Joshua is one of my, right hand people. He always tell me things I never thought of or noticed. But he's like, man, do you know you living in China, you lived in Turkey, and you did all of this? It's different. And I never looked at them. He said, man, you really is him, because you did this, by yourself. You went to another place with, and I never even, I was just going like, it was no big deal. Once I went to Winona State, which was all white, everything, every place else was easy for me.
You got that early. That's fascinating.
I
Yes.
got that early.
Yeah.
I got that early. I was in, I was going to places, I was in some hostile territories in Iowa and all this, you know what I mean? Going, even growing up in East Chicago, now is places you can go that it wasn't a sign that say no black people when I was growing up, but we knew it was you don't go,
You don't
you know,
go.
place a city called Maryville, Indiana. Now it's blacks and Hispanics that's living all in this city. When I was growing up, you just go to the mall
Yeah.
and you get back on that highway. You get on back to Gary, East Chicago. Don't go past that light. So that I grew up in some hostile situations, but we learned how to deal with it. We didn't let that stop us from living. We found a way to still be happy and have fun at that time, and it just made me built for going to other places. It made me built for it.
and helping other people be comfortable where they are, because I think that's a different level. So at some point you're comfortable with being able to be anywhere. At
Yeah.
some point you're comfortable being able to talk to anyone, but I think there's a third level, which sort of to be able to help people be comfortable themselves in a place that's new to them is an extra thing, is it not?
Yeah, you're right. I always go by the motto, be the person that brings value to the room, that they want you there.
Yeah.
Be the person that brings the value to the room, whatever room it is, whether it's an event, whether you're going to somebody's house, be that person you like, wow. And I always looked at it like I'm representing Black Americans everywhere I go. I know what the TV is presenting, and these people, the only thing they know about Black Americans is what they see on TV.
Hmm.
Then they meet Reggie Martin, and it's not matching. And then now we having a conversation. Oh, by the way, it's way more people like me. It's not just me in America. I know what the TV is showing y'all, but no. And that gave me a big high on educating people.
You become the ultimate ambassador, because if Reggie Martin is the one dude like you that I get a chance to meet, I'm going to feel pretty good about dudes like you.
Yeah, you know what? I bet on you being with me than anybody else. You're right. I'm gonna get you to where you need to be because I'm coming out. It's like on the plane. Back in the day when they say, you want to sit by the exit door. Yeah, put me by the exit door. I bet on myself more than I bet on somebody else. I'm gonna get us up out of here.
Yes, bet on yourself, and at least you know what you're going to get. I mean,
That's right.
I always feel like on planes, they ask the people who are sitting in the exit aisles if they're willing to participate. I feel like the rest of us on the plane ought to get a vote.
Indeed. Hey, I'm the one that's listening to the instructions on the plane. You know what I mean? That when they not listening to the instructions, I get a little nervous
Out of the chair, man. Out of the chair. I think I get a vote if you're out of the chair.
right?
Um,
You were sleeping doing the rules. You need to go.
we live in a world of celebrity. I mean, you have become a true celebrity in your own right. Like I talked about, I think it's brand within brand. When you look at your LinkedIn page right now, you have posts having been recently with Messi, having been with Obama, Elon Musk, Derrick Rose. These are people that are truly in the celebrity stratosphere. When you encounter those people, does anyone ever make you think twice, or are you just so comfortable with everybody now that never happened?
um. Oh, you know what? Every time I'm with around Michael Jordan, I still be like, "That's Michael Jordan." you know, that's Mike
Michael
or
Jordan is
Doctor J or Doctor J. Those two. Let's get that out right now. Doctor J. Mainly like, and I'm really with Doc, and he called me or texted me sometime. That just still like, wow. That's my OG is Dr. J.
Mhm.
But yes, man. If you read the opening statement or whatever you want to call it on my Instagram page, I say I'm the most unknown known person in the world. So the average Joe might not know me, but the person you look up to will know me. And the one thing they all have in and what's the word I'm looking for? The one thing they all have
In
in
common.
common is me. They don't know each other, but they know me. So for me, who do you want to know in the room? you know. So that was me. I would rather know this person who nobody knows in the room, but I'm seeing this person and everybody coming to him, and he the one introducing. Let's say Leonardo to Denzel or this person. So yeah, it's for, I guess, for if you want a picture moment, yeah, you would go Leonardo or Denzel. But if for relation wise, no, I got to know this guy. This guy's the one with the influence. So this is how I always thought. At the NBA All Star Weekend, I do you at first they used to put me at the players' hotel to stay, but I remember telling Mr. Dave Stern, no, I want to be where the owners stay. You know what I mean? But I want to be around the wealth. The people who's paying for it. You know what I mean? That's the circle I want to be around, because I'm trying to get more to that situation. I'm not playing in the NBA. You
Right.
know, I'm there just to learn. They send stuff that school universities don't teach.
Yeah.
So and they already there. So these are people I tend to want to be around. That's why you see me with Wolf Blitzer. We call ourselves the Wolf Pack. So I'm around all these older, wiser guys, and I'm just sitting there. I'm blessed to be in the circle for all these years, and I'm just sitting here learning, things that you would think, I thought I knew how to be a great friend until I got around Wolf Blitzer.
Hmm.
Wolf showed me, dang, man, I wasn't a great friend. I was just a all right, good friend to people. And what I give you an example.
Yeah. What do you mean?
One year at the NBA All Star Weekend was in New York, and it was freezing
It's cold.
outside. You remember that one?
Oh, that was cold. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, and for some reason, New York Knicks, they not New York, but the Madison Square Garden, they left you outside if you got there, early. Man, it's thousands of people trying to get in, and they have you locked outside until I guess today they have a time when they want to let everybody in. But we standing out there freezing.
Yeah.
So the doors finally open. The security and all them see Wolf Blitzer. We move as one, the Wolf Pack. We get caught up because everybody really trying to get in those doors because it's so cold outside.
Yeah.
And they get Wolf in, and we get caught up in the back. Now me, if I'm Wolf, I'm like, okay, Reggie and them, they got their tickets. They just meet us at the seat. That's that's what most of my friends and all that, and that would have been fine. Wolf came back outside, and now as so many people, he's waiting in line with us to come back in. And he doesn't know that just taught me so much right there. Now when I'm with people, I do the same as him. They be like, man, go on, go on. No, I wait with you.
That is so lovely. And it's one of those things. You don't always get that. There are extraordinary people in the celebrity set, and there are some not so nice folks. And
That's
you get to learn a lot both ways.
both ways. This man come outside, it's freezing, no hat on, nothing, and waiting with us. And man, that stayed with me to this day. And I tell this story all the time because I'm like, wow, I would have left with them and say, okay, Wolf and them got they tickets, they made them at the seat, you know. But that just taught me, okay, no, now this is what you're supposed to do. Something that simple, right?
Yeah.
Makes a big difference in someone's life. Something that different. And he didn't even know he was doing that. But now I do this to people and I can see
Yeah.
they looking at me the same as they look at Wolf now. Cause I would go back and wait, you know. Or I give up a seat for someone who hasn't had that opportunity and take their seat.
It matters. And what you're talking about in psychological circles, they call modeling. So essentially, what you do by who you are modeling for people, no matter what you tell them they ought to do or be. Same thing with your children or people in your life. it's the people who model good behavior that help you become a good and great human.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Action speaks louder than words.
And we follow it.
Good people, right? You have some people that take advantage of your kind. You ever heard that saying, "Don't take my kindness for weakness"? You have some evil people that will exploit that kindness. You know what I mean? But not me. I really learned, appreciate it. And if I see somebody in my circle, man, luckily, man, my circle in East Chicago and all that has been the same. So is I always been blessed to be around stand up characters and new ones that come around. If they don't fit that role or what I'm used to being around, I quickly cut it off. Because you don't have people that rolls the same way. You got a lot of selfish people that only think about themselves.
I will take it about 10 steps further, which is what I tell young people, tell my kids, and that is be very careful who you choose, because if you're around those people, whether you like it or not, that's who you become.
That is a fact. That funny you say that. I think my friends, they will all tell you. I thank my friends all the time for having uh my back, and some sit there and thank me back because at some point your friends become more of a parent than your parents do when you get a certain age because you with them more than you are with your parents.
Yeah.
So if you that's important for you to pick the right circle because y'all gonna guide each other, to stay in a certain lane. And I was just blessed and smart enough to to find a group of guys to this day. Some passed away or whatever, but to this day we all the same and still doing that in many ways.
A caveat to that I think is very important is that none of us are immune. We may think that we can stay within the confines of what our own person is. But again, surround yourself in the wrong place and it will turn you in a way that you're going to have to
Ooh,
look in the mirror eventually.
that's a fact. That's a fact. Thank God, I always been kind of a loner. It's funny, you know.
Interesting.
Um, I'm around a lot of people, but when I get my time, I like to be alone.
Well, that's actually a powerful thing we should all do. And a lot of us don't do enough, particularly with devices that want all of our time all the time.
Oh, I shut that. Yeah, yeah. I'm quick to shut that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quick. I got Netflix and stuff for a reason to stay away from those phones.
When we talk about modeling, when we talk about the people we grew up with who really undergird everything about us, you and I shared the experience that we have because my mother called while we were on the bus, and my mother, who struggles with Alzheimer's. You told me the story of your grandmother, who was a foundational person in your life,
Mm-hmm.
who also struggled with dementia. I feel like in contexts like this, sometimes you don't get a chance to talk much about those things, yet
Mm-hmm.
they're profound and really, really meaningful and have an impact.
Oh yes, yes. The difficult part of having that, like what we experiencing. I have another friend that's going through that, and I told him the hardest part for me was scared of seeing her now and forgetting how she was in the past.
Hmm.
And once, I mean, she's passed on now, and I was able to tell him, guess what, man? I think less of what. The only thing I know, okay, she suffered from dementias, but none of that stuff stayed in my mind. What was going on with dementias? I only remember when Christmas come around. You were. So now I can teach people. You know what? no, your great memories is gonna override that whatever went on during the short time they have dimensions. Um, and I'm just so happy in my life. That's what happened. So I have nothing but great memories of her, and I don't think about, I don't know that other person that it became, so I only stay with the side of the kind, great woman she was, and to this day, and I'm blessed for that. It was tough, it was tough, you know, um, seeing your loved one go through something like that. And the toughest thing is you can't do nothing about it, and here's a person that's been doing everything for you all her life. And then when now you can't, you can't repay that back, you suffering with her, so that was a tough one.
Well,
And, uncle, especially for my uncle,
yeah.
one of my uncles who was the caretaker.
The great teachers in our lives tend to continue to be great teachers. And so, even in the challenging part of being in the throes of dementia, I learn every day from my mother, who is continuing to be in the world that she's in. And even though I may think, hey, that wouldn't be the world I would pick for her, I can tell you today she had a pretty good day. And I talked to her, and her day may have been more simple than it used to be. But the simplicity and the Zen master that she's become for me is not a little thing. It's very real for me.
Oh yeah, amen. You know what? Thank God for. I mean, cameras been around, right, for years, but I don't think we use those now. You really can use your phone, like the moments I have captured on video when she, before all of that. Man, that's a blessing. I have that. That is a blessing. So I go back and watch that often, sitting on the balcony or whatever, and watch and laugh. You know what I mean? So thank God for that, and that's important because that's going to stay on for her great 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 grandchildren that always have this video who will be born, in the near future. They can always see her.
A true lesson that, yeah, man, we forget the lessons so often. So we learn them, then we forget them. We learn them and then forget them. But honestly, to cherish the people around you and to cherish the day, the moments that we have together. This is what we've got. We don't know how long it lasts, but while we've got it, just embrace it, man. Embrace it.
Embrace. Christmas is always tough, but this past Christmas actually wasn't tough because most Christmas movies have things to do with grandma.
That's right.
You
That's
you know, and this Christmas actually I handled it well. So because sometimes you can be watching a Christmas movie and tears just be coming down. You don't even know you sitting there. What's the word I'm looking for?
crying.
Yeah, 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 crying. You know what I mean? Yes, crying.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah.
not in a bad way. I,
No,
I don't
it's
know. I don't know. It's another word my friend said. That was right on point. But yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
the loss, it's the joy, it's all wrapped up, right? I mean, I think I'm a emotional soup. I truly want to stay that way for the rest of my life. It's
Mm,
not.
mm.
I don't think it's one thing. I don't think we're one emotion. I think we're just a whole bunch of them, a lot, all the time. And it's not simple. Life's not simple. It doesn't
Oh
do
no,
that. It is complex and layered, and that's fine.
no. You know what, man? Boy, if we knew that when we were young, well, actually, I knew because my father would say that to me though, like, "Hey, enjoy this because it gets tougher." But yeah, if you really know as a kid, you will probably behave even more better knowing knowing you really got it made, at that time. You don't have to worry about no bills, nothing.
Yeah.
But when you get older, you like, man, mom and dad had to sacrifice all of this, and and worry about keeping the heat on, putting food on. You don't think about that when you're young.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, I could talk to you for way too long, so I promise I won't keep you forever. But I would love to give as practical a bit of Reggie Martin talking to me if I'm a 20 something out there and I'm thinking, I'd really love to let the world take me all over the world and be able to be in these environments where you don't have your own car, but somebody picks you up and drives you. Um, what do you tell me? What do you tell me, the 20-year-old me, that I ought to be doing for real, tangible stuff? What's the thing? What are the things I can do today and every day to try to give myself a shot to elevate into a different world?
Man, you have access to all this information online. I would go online, Google what events, value events that's going on in my city or in a city near me, and I will find out a way how to get to be able to go inside or be invited to go to these events and put myself in rooms with people that I can network with. Because you never know. Like I said, it only takes one person to give you an idea or give you a job or give you some knowledge. But I would want to be in that room. Clubs is not going nowhere. You can always go to the club, but those opportunities right there. You need, you need to hit it. You need to hit that door and be in those rooms because they're gonna be intrigued because most likely you're gonna be the youngest person in the room, but they're gonna be impressed that you're in the room.
So find a way to get into the room. And when you're in the room, be comfortable enough to really be in the room.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because one of them gonna say once you tell them what you want to do, one of them gonna know somebody, or if not them, put you in a situation of okay, I have a friend that give me your information, or I'm gonna put you in contact with someone. That's how it starts.
Reggie Martin is telling you to say yes a lot.
You can't win the lottery without going to buy the ticket. you know,
Right.
you got to get the ticket. You can't meet nobody if you those high value people if you don't show up.
Well, what a life. I always ask people when they're with us if there's some source that you use a lot that you don't think I might know that really helps you to get information about anything from hospitality to where those events are going to be. Is there anything that is a little bit of a secret for getting better information that you could give us?
I would give them a secret for me. Um, I have over 7 million followers on Instagram, but it's not the number that should impress you. It's the who follows me, the Wolf Blissers, the Paris Hiltons, and Dr. J's. So, in saying that, you have access to social media platforms that you can really touch influential people for free, and you don't use it in that way. So I take advantage of being able to touch people from around the world I want to be able to touch without the social media thing. So this is a powerful tool to use. Why not use it? Don't use it for showing your body off, and for me, just I use it to meet high value people that can bring some value to my life, whether just spiritually, mentally,
Yeah.
uh, in any of those ways.
I had no idea you had 7 million followers on Instagram. I just met you and I like
But
you.
but again, it's not follow. Look who follows,
Yes, I know. I get it. Yeah, yeah.
because people. People in the world is only intrigued with the number. But I
Hmm.
try, when I talk to students, you can have somebody with 10,000 followers and somebody with 100,000 followers, but the person with 10,000 followers have nothing but high value people that follows them, and 100,000 followers doesn't have that. Who do you hire? Who do you? I'm going with the 10,000 with the influence. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you want the connections to the right
quality
people
over quantity, quality over quantity.
every time. Listen, it is amazing to me that you are talking to me all the way from Macau and that we made this happen. Reggie, thank you so much for joining us
Hey,
here.
example. Look at us using technology. You didn't have to leave your domain. I didn't have to leave my domain, and we using this in a way. It's free. We connected, and look, we might change one person's life who listens to this. It's
Amen.
amazing.
Well, I could tell you that Reggie Martin would never say anything other than what we say here, which is today and every day. Please stay curious. Please stay open. Your life will be better if you do those two things.
Please follow me, Reggie Martin 10, ReggieMartin 10 on Instagram. Appreciate y'all.
100%. Reggie, thanks for being here. Come back, man. Come back whenever you want.
Salute.